I see what ho, chaps and chabbits, Game Chap and Bertie here.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, fellows, and I dare say we are now discussing here some rather exciting news about an upcoming Wii U game that a lot of you may be very interested in.
We most certainly are, yes indeed. Animal Crossing. Will it be coming on the Wii U?
Indeed, I say, fellows. By George, it seems that in a recent interview of sorts, a certain member of Nintendo's development team was, shall we say, talking about games and things, and
yes.
I understand someone asked him a certain question about Animal Crossing, did he not, old chap?
Well, he most certainly did, yes indeed. And of course that question was, will it be coming on the Wii U?
Exactly. So, Bertie, who exactly was this chap and what did he say?
Well, this chap was a chap named Nogami, actually.
Mr. Nogami, was
Yes,
it?
indeed, and he was chatting about Splatoon, but at the end of it he was asked about Animal Crossing on Wii U.
I see.
And he said in answer to that, in other words, is it coming out? Well, he said, it's difficult for me to answer at the moment. And that's what he said. Now, that's a very interesting statement, because difficult for him, well, it was either coming out or it isn't. So if it's difficult for him to answer, perhaps it most certainly is in the pipeline, and they're talking about it now.
It's quite something that provokes thought, shall we say, quite thought-provoking there, fellows, because, of course, if Mr. Nogami was indeed working on this game, he obviously wouldn't be able to tell us about it, would he?
Well, of course
he can't spill the beans.
Well, of course he would. No, not at all. That's the whole thing. Now, he also said, what I will say is that you may have seen an announcement recently about an Animal Crossing product coming out on the 3DS.
I see. So he's giving us this sort of cryptic code word language, isn't he?
Well, he most certainly is, yes indeed. I think the way he said that, there's a jolly good chance that we could indeed see it on the Wii U. And of course, we've got E3 coming up in a few days now.
Yes, very shortly approaching, that's right.
Exactly. And will they mention it there?
That's the thing indeed, but we have to ask ourselves, are they going to mention Animal Crossing at E3? And indeed, is there something in the works for the Wii U about this game?
Well, most certainly, that's a very interesting thing. Now, of course, we've seen this Animal Crossing on a number of platforms, appearing first in 2001, of course. I believe that was on the N64.
That's right.
And we've also seen it, I think, on the GameCube, is that right? As well as the Wii.
Indeed, we of course saw City Folk, and also what was the other one called? I forget the names now, actually, but I do indeed recall they appeared on both the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube, as well as the Wii, but we haven't yet seen one on the Wii U.
Not as yet, no indeed. So this would be rather exciting, for a lot of chaps and chappettes and people out there, I'm sure.
Indeed, old one. But of course, the question is, if Nintendo are indeed making an Animal Crossing Wii U game, I know I'm going to be very excited personally, old chap. What kinds of things could they do in that game?
Well, I think you're going to have interaction, most certainly, with the old Wii U gamepad, certainly.
Well, yes.
To a certain extent, well, you have to have, I should imagine, a game like that. Graphically, I think the game could look rather good on the Wii U, and should look very good, I think.
I do, old chap. I certainly think, oh, how nice. I certainly think the game could be a big step up from this game in terms of graphical appearance, and also the gameplay and how it works. But of course, we've already seen an Animal Crossing product on the Wii U, have we not, in the form of the Animal Crossing Plaza.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yeah, most certainly we have.
Which, of course, featured many of the Animal Crossing villagers on the Wii U, so you could sort of look at them, see what they're saying, etc. and so forth. However, it wasn't a full-featured game.
Well, no, not indeed. No, indeed. So, if we saw a full-featured game on there, we've just had the Animal Crossing we're playing here now on the 3DS. The latest game came out a couple of years ago, I think in 12, wasn't it?
12 or 13, I think, this game. 13. Yes, that's right.
And so, you see, they wouldn't just be able to just migrate it, as it were, and say, well, here we are, here's the very same thing or very similar thing over on the Wii U. I think they'd have to make it different. They'd have to make the way it was played perhaps different, and different things and ideas going on in there.
That's
Otherwise,
right.
People would just say, well, it's just the same but on Wii U.
Well, if you ask me, one of the best things about Animal Crossing on 3DS has to be the multiplayer side of things. It's just so well done. You can go to the island, you can meet other people there, you can travel to your friends' towns and have conversations and play little games inside Animal Crossing. That's very, very good, of course, but you can only have up to 4 people in one given town.
Ah, right, okay. Well, maybe that will change if they do that, and on the Wii U version, perhaps.
I think so. If perhaps we do see a Wii U release, perhaps one of the things they'll address is the shortage of players inside anyone's given town. Imagine having up to 8, 16 or even 32 players in the same town.
Well, most certainly, that's something they'll have to sort out, no question about it. But there's something else we need to consider as well when we're thinking about this game coming out on the Wii U, and that is, what about the life of the Wii U itself, the actual console itself?
That's a good point. Of course, we are reaching the end of the Wii U's life, it seems. It's not doing so well on sales, perhaps not the ideal time to be releasing huge brand new games for it, although Nintendo have been doing their best with games like Smash Bros, Splatoon, etc. and so forth.
Yes.
But would indeed the Wii U be the best console to release such a popular game as Animal Crossing at this time?
Well, that's a good point. Yes, I think it's possible. I think it's not one of their major titles, Animal Crossing, certainly. So I think it's possible we could see it, yes.
Actually, believe it or not, although you don't really consider Animal Crossing to be like Mario or Link or Donkey Kong, it is very, very popular. I think this particular version of the game we're playing here, Animal Crossing New Leaf, has actually sold over 4 million copies. It's quite popular, you know.
Okay, well, that's quite worthy, most certainly. As far as it coming out on the Wii U, then, I don't see why they shouldn't do it. Certainly, if you can, whatever new console they do have planned for the future, perhaps if you can play, Wii U games in that one, there wouldn't be a problem.
Well, indeed, if the new console is backwards compatible, that's what you're saying, old chap. You could indeed have a situation where it works on both the Wii U and the Nintendo NX, or whatever it's going to be called. Certainly, I do think any future Animal Crossing Wii U game would be one of the most popular games on that platform, because, of course, it's just so addictive, old boy. You just keep playing and talking and just walking around and maintaining your village and meeting new people, etc., and so forth.
Well, most certainly. Now, all of you listeners out there, we know we have a lot of listeners that and fans of Nintendo that come along to watch our videos and things. Now, what do you think about this? Is this a game that you play? Is it a game you'd like to see on the Wii U? And is it something that excites you? You say, oh yes, I'd play that,
Yes, if you ask me that question, I'd say certainly, yes, it does excite me. The whole idea in prospect, in fact, I'm almost watering at the mouth, old chap. Foaming at the mouth, in fact. There you are. I am very much looking forward to the whole idea, because I do enjoy the 3DS one, a very good game, and I believe there's a lot of potential to see it on Wii U. Something they could certainly do on the Wii U version, as I say, is improve the multiplayer and graphics sides of things. Certainly, you could have more players in the same town, you could have a better and sharper overall appearance of the game, they could throw in some new features here and there, change the way the game works, etc., and so forth.
Well, yes, most certainly. I think, as I said earlier, there's no way they could just bring the exactly the same game idea into there. I think they're going to have to change the way things are done, maybe introduce new things and the way you can do things as a little player or whatever.
Well, I mean, what sort of things do you think they could do, old chap?
They could add guns.
Guns?
Yes, they could add guns.
Look, but I don't think it's the kind of game where you have guns. You have things like bug nets, old boy. Things.
You do have bug nets, but I'm just putting that out there. Perhaps you could have a little thing where, sometimes the UN, what say you were raided? Your village was raided by some bad,
let's just be sensible.
Bandits.
Yes, perhaps I
Bandit
think
guns.
What you said there is interesting.
It's interesting.
There could be a kind of an element of sorts whereby baddies could come and somehow attack your village. It's not very Animal Crossing really, but then in the past we have of course had Booker and Copper standing guard with their spears, you see. So
well, okay, yes. I mean,
we did have that in the past.
Well, most certainly. Okay, if not guns, then perhaps bad things.
Jetpacks.
Well, jetpacks, I suppose, but things that come out at night, perhaps, that are bad.
Like Minecraft.
Well, yes. Well, perhaps sort of little bad things. I don't know. It could be, slugs or something.
Slugs out at night.
Big bad slugs.
Well, although he wasn't in this version of the game, I understand in a previous version there was actually some kind of wispy ghost of some sort who did appear in a past Animal Crossing game at night time, I understand.
I see. Why is he just standing there at the moment?
Shh, it's a glitch, old boy. We're not supposed to comment on that,
Oh, I see.
Also, I understand at 3:33 a.m. or thereabouts, an alien appears for only 1 minute on the TV set in this game. So there are certain hidden things you're not supposed to get here normally, old chap.
Look at that. You've just seen the glitch there performed by Game Chip and Bertie online there for you there.
Well, by Game Chip, actually, but yes, Bertie's here too,
Well, I was helping it along,
Of course you are,
I'm winding up the old thing next to it that keeps the computer going.
Yes, of course he is. But anyway, fellas, we digress. Things like you're seeing here, fun little glitches rather, and ways to break the game. I don't think these would make the jump to Wii U, because no doubt Nintendo wants to discourage this kind of thing. But it is fun all the same, and different ways to play the game. I do think they could do things like add in many new buildings, new crops, new fruits, etc., and so forth, and new things you could do as the mayor.
Well, yes, for example, yes, as the mayor, but perhaps another idea. Perhaps you could go to the moon.
The moon?
Yes, why not? Perhaps you could build a little spaceship and go to the moon.
And may I ask about it, Devi? What would he find on the moon?
Cheese, everyone knows that.
Cheese.
Cheese, yes.
And he could bring back some moon cheese and plant it in his town.
Exactly. But when he does, it moulds. It doesn't work on Earth, you see. It only works up there on the moon.
So he can only eat it on the moon or on Earth.
Exactly. So if he's hungry and he hasn't got anything down here, he can go to the moon very quickly and have a bit of cheese.
Now, actually, you've just said something very interesting there, Bertie. Of course, you can eat foods in Animal Crossing all day long, but your player never actually gets hungry. Could they add in something like a hunger system, whereby if you get hungry, your player gets tired, moves slower, is more sluggish, etc., and so forth?
Well, I think that's very possible, yes, indeed. I was going to say on a serious note, but I think going to the moon is serious. They could add that.
Well, yeah.
But yes, I mean, with food, yes. I mean, it's quite realistic in many other ways. You can plant things, dig things, grow things, all the rest of it. But of course, as you say, he doesn't eat and drink. So perhaps they could bring that in line. And perhaps also you could get married.
Married?
Why not?
Married, you'll say? Well, that's actually not entirely outside the realms of possibility, because, of course, in a certain rival game known as Harvest Moon, you can do just that. You can get married.
Exactly. So you could get married. Maybe he could have a little dog pet that he could go around on. Maybe.
Oh, very good, very good. What about pets and
Pets?
things? Indeed, of course. I suppose already your villagers are animals by default, but there's nothing to say you can't have a pet of some kind that you perhaps could follow you around. You could also have, steeds and different ways to transport yourself. For example, there could be cars. I mean, Gracie had a car in a previous Animal Crossing game. Why can't the player have a car too?
Gracie, yes, that's a good idea. Cars, yes, indeed, most certainly. I think pets, as I said, is a very good idea as well. Little doggy or a pig. You can have a pig as your pet, can't you?
Well, there's actually pig villages though, by but
imagine gerbils.
All the same, Vales, we are churning out the ideas here. Nintendo could go so many places with this game, I think.
Yes, gerbils.
I don't think you want gerbils as pets,
maybe
really,
not.
old chap.
Well, maybe.
Anyway, so of course, there you are.
Yes.
Animal Crossing on Wii U certainly is a very exciting prospect. As I say, they could add new ways to play the game. They could add new options for players in your town. They could add new graphics and better abilities in that area. Now, what about new online modes? Okay.
Online modes. I'm just thinking, what about swimming?
Swimming, you can swim actually. I'm going to show you if I get this glitch right, You can use a wetsuit to swim usually, of course. But new online modes, because currently you can go to the island, you see, and meet new people there. What about a new online mode entirely?
Well, exactly. That's a good idea, and I think they must be thinking of that. I mean, as far as the whole question of this video is all about, or what it's all about, in other words, are we going to see it on the Wii U Animal Crossing? I think there's a very jolly good chance.
Yes.
We could well hear something next month. Next month now.
At E3.
E3, yes.
Certainly, if the chap from Nintendo had said, oh yes, we are working on Animal Crossing, he'd lost his job, old boy. He can't say anything like that, but he can give us small hints, perhaps, and build some hype here and there. Or it could always be a big ruse.
Well, exactly, yes, indeed. I think, as you say, if he just said, yes, we most certainly are, that he probably had it. But equally, he can't perhaps say, well, no. Well, maybe he could say, no, we're not. Or maybe that upsets people, I don't know.
Maybe that might break people's hopes, old chap.
I think what he said is interesting, and I think also the fact that there's, it's come out on the 3DS, we've had it on the N64,
yes,
the GameCube, and the Wii.
But not the Wii U.
A great big space there for it to go on the Wii U.
Exactly, there certainly is. It seems the next logical step, and considering how many copies it's shifted on 3DS, I'd say it's only a sensible money-making decision for Nintendo. No doubt all the fans of Animal Crossing will go straight out and buy the new Wii U game. I know I will.
Well, I think so, yes, indeed. As you said, a rather popular seller. The Nintendo most certainly are looking to get games out that are popular sellers. They've had a few that's not been very popular. So
there we go.
There you go, it's swimming, look at that.
Yes, indeed, I say.
So they want to get ones out that are popular, and perhaps they'll be looking at this over things perhaps like, dare I say it, Samus and things like that.
Oh, well, yes, indeed, you could be right. The only small consideration they have, I think, is that perhaps, there are many Japanese players of Animal Crossing, very popular over there, and not so many Japanese actually have a Wii U. So they have to consider that before launching the game. Does perhaps their entire fan base all have the Wii U console required to play it?
Well, that's a very good point, yes, I suppose so. But Wii U Animal Crossing. Will it happen? Will it happen?
I hope it does. I'm looking forward to it, Trap. Please happen, Yes, indeed, I say.
I'm pretty sure it will happen, I think.
I think it's almost certainly. You could bet money on it, old chap. Don't go betting money, of course, but you could bet money if you like.
Right, okay.
My word, there you are, videos. That's our thoughts on Animal Crossing Wii U. Do let us know what you think, I say. And also, do you like those glitches, I say?
Do you like the glitches?
They're quite good, aren't they?
I think the glitches are good. And do you want it on the Wii U, or do you not want it on the Wii U? Which do you want?
Indeed,
yes or no, yes. And do you want spacemen? Do you want aliens? Do you want
and buying lumps of cheese from the moon?
Slugs, buying cheese. Well,
horses, cars,
yes. The guns.
Jetpacks.
The bandits coming from the other villages.
Nuclear weapons.
The gerbils.
Right. Yes. This hasn't even Game Shannon Birdie bringing you our thoughts on Animal Crossing Wii U. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Oh, yes. I've been stung. And we look forward to seeing you once more. Adios, guys.
Oh, yes.
Until then.